Bonsoir tout le monde. Je sais que vous comprenez exactement qu'est-ce que je dis. Je sais que tout le monde va bien. Of course, none of you understood what I was saying. That's why you guys are here. So, of course, I said in Freedom Fries, or AKA French, hello, everybody. I hope all of you are doing well tonight. And that, of course, you guys understood exactly what I said because I know all of you speak French and are absolutely 100% fluent in the language. But of course, you guys do want to take this first ever lesson in French. Now, of course, I'm here to tell you guys, and this is my disclaimer, big disclaimer here. I am not a educator, I am not a professor, nor a teacher. I am doing this for entertainment purposes only. So please do not send me your children to learn French. We're going to spend some time together today. I will at one point have the stream open to be joined, the panel, I should say, to be joined. By anyone who wants a question about French or just wants to talk in general. But we'll get started on our little mini class. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go very in depth in my French lessons. French is one of those languages is very difficult and is not necessarily for everybody. So tonight is just a mini debut to see who's interested and who wants to learn. But of course, we have a couple of people in the chat here. So hello, Wally. Hello to you too as well. Trash can waves. Of course, we have you. Salute before the billions. And I definitely want to say hello to our favorite educator, Mrs. B. Finesse. Bonsoir. And of course, Mrs. B has to be, a little bit, come on, hola, ¿cómo estás? Estás muy bien, gracias. Of course, that's Spanish, but hey, it's okay. A sister language for a sister. It's okay. I'll accept it. I'll accept it. But yes, I'm doing well, and I hope all of you are also doing very well tonight. And we will be getting into our French lesson shortly. Like I said, it's going to be a bit of a quickie, but it's okay. For those of you who want to tip the teacher, I do have my PayPal in the description. So send me a couple apples if you want to. Okay. So like I said, guys, nothing complicated today, nothing big time. I will have a mini little video that I did double check. I might get claimed, copyright claimed, but it's okay. I know it's a short clip. Worst case scenario, I just take it out of the video once the stream is done. But before we show the little tiny quick clip, I'm going to teach you guys a quick little lesson in French. Okay, so again, nothing complicated, so don't worry, you're not going to do any conjugation or anything else that's too over the top. Okay, so we're going to start with the basic title of the show. How do I say comment dis-je? Okay, so we're going to repeat that. We're going to say it slowly. So in French, if you wanted to ask somebody, how do I say this? How do I say that? You would ask them, comment dis-je? How do I say? Comment dis-je? Okay, so you see on screen, there's a little line between. So it's telling you it's technically two separate words, but we're going to make them a union. So obviously, me being part of the Freedom Fry world, I would just say, comment dis-je? Okay, so as you can see, when I pronounce it, the dis-je is really sounding like one word and not the two. That's why you have a little line between. so that visually when you see it, you understand it's two words, but when you say it, it tends to be one word. Okay, so how do I say comment dis-je? Okay, so obviously I'm over articulating so that way you guys will understand. Okay, so obviously we have our next thing that we're going to of course we have our other troublemaker. C'est la cause des ennuis. What? Who taught you this trash can ways? Here you are. I'm trying to, trash can. I know you went to Google Translate for that one. You're not, but hey, look, if you knew this before, you're going to be the first one on this panel participating. Okay. And bonsoir, Melissa Jane. I'm glad to see you here. Thank you again. Melissa Jane is the official sponsor of tonight's live, as she was my first ever PayPal donation ever. Thank you again, Melissa Jane. If you want to learn how to say donation, well, it's the same English spelling, just a question of pronunciation. Donation in French is donation. Donation, donation. All right. So that's right. So I have my eyes on you, trash can Waynes. No more of this funny business in French, huh? Or else I'll cause you some ennui, okay? So behave, okay? Or else you're going to come up on this chat and you're going to start doing some French lessons with us. Okay, so I will put up the chat invite for any of you who want to be part of tonight's lesson. How do you spell yes in French? It's not, of course, everybody always says oui, oui, and it's no, it has nothing to do with that oui, oui, okay? But I will do that for you now. So yes, in French, it's very easy. Like in English, it's a 3-letter word, and I'm going to do that now for you. Second here, I'm not quite as fast as Gail Lockett, the mistress of moderation. So there you have it. That is how you properly spelt oui, oui. So yes in French is oui, no in French is non. So you're just adding one letter and pronouncing it differently. So for those of you who want to be part of today's French lesson, I just added the stream chat. We're going to do one little quick lesson, one more. We're going to obviously start with hello, bonjour. So it's one word. So of course now technically at this time of the night we say bonsoir because that would be the more appropriate thing, but informally most people say bonjour even if it's at night. Yes, Melissa, oui indeed. So I'm going to show a nice little video very quickly here. Give me a second to get it. It's going to be from our favorite Bean of all time. So obviously it's Mr. Bean. He's going to be speaking in English, but I will be translating to you in French how you would say this in French. So obviously a very comedic little scene here from our very favorite Bean of all, Mr. Bean. So in that little scene that he did, he obviously was at a fancy French restaurant, which I felt that was appropriate for today's first lesson. He obviously was being served some wine by the waiter. So the waiter asked him, would you like some of the house wine? He said, yes, obviously. And of course, after tasting the wine, he was offered some more. And that's when he said, no, I'm driving. Now, I'm going to break it down one by one, so that way you guys will understand. And again, for anybody who wants to join the chat, or the panel, I should say, feel free to do so at any moment. You don't need to wait for my invitation or the appropriate moment. Excuse me, I will see you guys in the back and prompt you to guys to come up. Okay, so it's nothing complicated. The waiter asks, "Do you want some of the house wine?" Fine. So I'm just typing it out here. So that's the question in English. Do you want some of the house wine? Now, obviously, I'm going to be doing it the more formal way. Obviously, French is one of those languages that can be very formal, very prim and proper, but also very informal too, as well. And how you decide, just like any other language, is really the context and who you're dealing with. Obviously, if you're talking to somebody like the queen or royalty or the president, you're going to be addressing them very differently than you would your friend or your parent or someone like that. So, obviously do things very differently. You do want to stick with the vous, which is a formal you. Okay. So we're going to start off with that, but again, I'll give you guys the different variation. Sorry, so that way you guys will understand and have a little bit of better context. But don't be afraid to join up on the panel, ask the questions, and practice with me, because this is what this whole lesson is for you guys to have the opportunity of practice. And even if it's just a couple words, even if it's the basics, don't be afraid. I know French, like I said, tends to be difficult to pronounce, but you will get through it with practice. So, just give me a second here, guys. So, a very basic way to translate that sentence. Do you want some of the house wine? Voulez-vous le vin de la maison? Voulez-vous le vin de la maison? So, very complicated sentence, I know. I'm bombarding you with a lot. So, we're just going to start from the beginning and build our way down to this. Okay. So, when you first come into the stream, okay, now, I'm not going to ask you guys to do this to your own live streams, but it would be nice if you guys, when you came to my live streams, when you come in, you would start with bonjour or bonsoir. Okay. So we're going to start with bonjour. So bonjour, bonjour. Okay. So you're saying hi to people, because who doesn't want to be told hi when they come into the live stream, right? We all want to be greeted. We all want to feel like we've been recognized and acknowledged, and that our presence isn't being ignored. So, of course, usually when you have a conversation, you don't just say bonjour and walk away from somebody. You would, of course, ask them, "How are you?" Right? You want to know that they're doing well. You want to show concern, right? Of course, it's the same thing in French, right? Nothing unusual here that I'm saying, guys. This is uh, something to do with houses. Yes, all these houses are all around here. Huh? So obviously, you want to be polite. You want to show again that you're welcoming and that people are part of your family, your conversation, your life, etc. So after saying bonjour, you're gonna say comment ça va? Comment ça va? How are you? Okay. You want to know that they're doing well. Comment ça va? Okay. So you'll notice under the C and that second word, there's this funny little thing here. Do you guys have it in the English language as well? I forgot the name of it in English, but it's a cédille. Cédille. So that's a fancy French word for what that is. Okay. But basically, obviously, the little accents on the A's, the V's, the E's typically are how it would indicate how you would pronounce certain letters or groups of letters. Okay. So this here would give you a much more softer C sounding word. So your C here would be much more of an S rather than a hard C. Okay, because C tends to be much more harsher word. So comment ça va? So you see, I'm the sava. All right, so I'm pronouncing it much more, almost like I have a snake in my mouth. Comment ça va? Right. So you're really making a much more softer sound with that letter. Okay, comment ça va? So of course you're gonna have to once you're asked, you're gonna have to answer. And of course, I'm not surprised with who's coming up first. Our brave new first student of tonight, our favorite billionaire. Everybody else, you guys know him as the bougie billionaire, but to me, he's the Shakespearean lion. We have, of course, before the billions. Bonjour.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Merci.
Bonsoir. Sorry, bonsoir.
No worries, no worries. Thank
Pardon.
you. Pardon. Hey, there we go. We're getting fancy now, huh?
Si,
Jeez.
si. Oui, oui.
Oui, exactly. Thank you for being here. So, how are you? Or
Uh,
wait. We'll start with the official question. Comment ça va?
comment ça va? I had to answer that, right? That's what you were
Yeah,
saying?
that's what we're going to teach you now. So we are going to practice this together. And of course, there's two different ways. The more formal answers, which is what I'm going to put up on screen now, is je vais bien. Je, yeah,
Je
vais
vais
bien.
bien.
Je vais bien.
J'avais bien.
Good, good. Keep practicing and you'll get up there. Now, the more quick, informal way of doing it as well. If you're just, again, like I said before, if you're just with friends and you just say, oh, ça va. So your question becomes the answer as well. So you just take off the come on, you just say, yeah, ça va, ça va. And obviously your intonation would dictate a lot about, is it a real ça va that you're really, hey, really everything is going well, or is it just like, oh, ça va, wow,
Ça va.
ça va, exactly. So yeah, that was, you're telling people in that intonation that, like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm okay. It's not a great day, but not a horrible day. It could be better, could be better. All right, so how do you find the lesson so far? Is what I'm saying making sense so far, or?
Oui.
Oui, bien sûr, of course, Monsieur Polyglotte here, huh? What your girlfriend is asking for more French? Is that it?
No, actually, she doesn't know that I'm going on here.
So it's going to be a surprise when you bring it. What's that fancy pantsy restaurant that you were mentioning in the other live stream? That
Oh yeah, the Portuguese restaurant.
yeah,
Oh, sorry, is Brazilian. The
Brazilian.
Brazilian, but it's also, Brazil speaks Portuguese,
Yeah, yeah.
but it is Fogo de Chao,
Oh,
right?
fogo de
And I
chão,
actually just
exactly.
learned that
Yeah,
that people who are Brazilians, they
mm.
say it Fogo de Chão.
The
But then when I
chão.
spoke to lead attorney about it, he said that's not true. So that's not true. It's just because they have a nasally voice. That's what it sounds like, Fogo de Chão,
Oh,
instead
okay.
of Fogo de Chao.
Ciao, yeah, exactly. No, then in French, pronunciation does make a big difference. So I see how that mistake could happen, or that misunderstanding in Portuguese would happen. And what did you think about me including that Mr. Bean clip as a sort of demonstration and a working point of translating a French uh, scene, basically?
I
Mhm.
actually was putting some clothes in the washer and dryer, so I didn't see
Yeah.
the Mr. Bean
Okay.
clip. But do you
Well,
mind playing it again, or
yeah,
is
yeah.
it?
No, I was about to say, and it's technically copyrighted claimed, but claimed, I know
Oh,
I could. Well, claim is not so bad because you can always remove it afterwards, so it's not the end of the world. I'll just go in the stream and edit it out. And worst case, it just, I quote unquote won't get monetized, but hey, I'm not I'm not in a position to be monetized at this point, so it's okay. So we'll re-show it, so because that's what we're working with right now is the sentences that I'm translating and having you guys learn in French is basically from this Mr. Bean scene, which I'll show now. Yeah, so that's a little clip that, yeah, very funny. And I figured with him, we'll definitely have a fun time of learning French. Hello, Lashes Journey. Nice to see you again here. And Mrs. B Finesse trying her hardest. Parlez-vous français? Not quite, Mrs. B. Not quite, but we're gonna get
What does
there.
that mean?
I think she's trying to say parlez-vous français, but she,
Parlez-vous,
yeah,
parlez-vous français?
français. Exactly.
Français.
Right.
Okay, so
Exactly.
how do you say? Because I know in Spanish is como se dice,
Como se
but
dice, exactly. Yeah,
what
no,
is
yeah, how do I say it in French? It was one of my first things here. How do I say comment dis-je?
como dice?
Yeah, exactly. Now, obviously, like I was saying before, I obviously overly pronounce so that way you guys understand and know. But what I was saying is that the line between the dije is when you're pronouncing it, obviously for me who's a native speaker, I'm gonna make it as if that's one word. But in reality, the line is saying technically they're two words, but you're saying them as if they're one. So for me, I would just say comment dije. So as you,
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
como dice?
Dija, exactly. There you go. So obviously, as you can see, I just put the D and the je together as if it's one word, but in
You know
reality,
what?
they're third.
It,
Yeah.
it actually sounds like it could be somebody's name. You know, for some reason, I feel like Calmadija would be somebody somebody's
Somebody's
real
name.
name. Like, a,
You never know. Oh, that's true. It could be definitely, definitely. So yeah, so that's how you would say. How do I say? So, and we'll continue on a little bit now. Obviously, in the scene, the waiter had asked him, "Do you want some of the house wine?" This is a little bit complicated, but we'll break it down and work through it. Voulez-vous le vin de la maison?
okay.
I don't. Yeah, it's a hard one. We're gonna break it down one step at a time because obviously I'm hitting you hard with this here, and I don't expect you to get it right on the first shot either. So again, I'm applauding you for at least coming up here and trying your best and willing to take a chance. I'm not surprised of you because that's how you become a billionaire, right? Come out and willing to embarrass yourself and make the mistakes in public, but knowing that it could help you down the line, right? Because learning another language is always a good tool. So,
Oui, oui.
oui, exactly. So we're gonna break it down. Voulez-vous? That's as you can see.
Voulez-vous?
Yeah, exactly. Good job. So I can see it's technically two words, but with the dash between. Most of the time, most people would pronounce it rather fast and almost as if it's one word. So voulez-vous?
Voulez-vous?
There you go. Bravo. You have the tongue for French. I can tell you that for sure. So the next part is, of course, in the voulez-vous, you're saying, do you want? Okay, that's the voulez-vous. Okay. And now, obviously, you want to tell them what you want. Okay, because you're obviously not just asking for nothing, you're asking for something, right? So you're going to continue with the rest of it. And of course, the next part is you want to say that I want the house wine. So we're going to go with le vin.
Le vin?
Yeah, exactly. Now, in French, just to let you know, everything has a gender. So most things are either female or French. So since vin is masculine, you're going to say le in front of it. Okay, so
Le.
le, exactly. So whenever you see this word, you know it's a masculine, either a person or an object. Okay, and even as I was typing out, I'm like, is it masculine or feminine? I had to ask myself that a little bit. I'm like, no, no, it's masculine. So that's the other thing with French that is difficult, especially
you
for
know,
Anglophones. Yeah,
the funny thing is that
yeah,
in Spanish, le,
yeah,
that's you switch the L, the E,
yeah.
you have L, which is the masculine.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's and when you're learning Portuguese as well is like that where, things will be gendered. But yeah, and that's why a lot of people when they learn Spanish, they try to learn French. When they learn French, they try to learn Spanish because it is so similar in how they construct their things, right? So,
Right? Just like
um
how
yeah.
no is the same in all of those languages,
Yeah,
and also
exactly.
parfum is perfume, but
Exactly.
also it's also the same in Spanish and in French, and then
Yeah.
also police and policia.
Exactly, exactly. Because I think, if I remember correctly, it's all Latin languages, right? German, English, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, French. It all comes down from a basic root of families. Now, obviously, English and German tend to take more on Greek tendencies as well. But yeah, they all have a common root to them. So that's why you will find a lot of similar words where sometimes it's just a question of pronunciation, right?
Right.
So we're going to continue. So we're going to say de la,
De la,
de la,
de la,
yeah. So here you notice the difference between le and la. Okay, so
le, and la. Okay.
exactly. So le was indicating that vin or wine is a masculine thing, a masculine object. When you hear the la indicates that what's coming up next is female. So
Mm.
house is female. Okay. So we're gonna pronounce female the house in French. We're gonna say maison.
Maison.
Exactly. So now we know in French, a house is considered something female. Okay, so the full sentence, and you're going to do your best. I know you're going to try to
Oui.
pronounce the, of course, oui, oui. We're going to try to pronounce the full sentence. Voulez-vous le vin de la maison? I'll repeat. Voulez-vous le vin de la maison?
Voulez-vous le vin de la maison?
Bravo, good job. Honestly, you really should try to learn French. It's very rare. I find Americans usually you guys have a little bit more trouble with learning French, but you seem to have a natural knack for learning it. So honestly, if not French, you could always ask Mrs. B Finance. Maybe one day her and I will do a Spanish French lesson collab, and you will become a trilingual person and impress your girlfriend thoroughly by being able to woo her in all three languages, right?
Oui.
Because oui, of course, why not? Why not? So I'm just going to take a moment here. So the next part, of course, is him saying that no, he doesn't want any more of the wine as we saw in the video because he was driving, right? So I'm going to put that in the banner. I should have been more prepared, but with the longer live stream, I didn't have time to finish everything. So just give me a second here. Worst case scenario, we will re-show the video so that way we're all refreshed with,
You
of
know,
course. Yeah, go
that
ahead.
scene reminds me so much of Monty Python.
Yeah, and it's. I think both Mighty Python are both, and this show are British creations, and Great Britain has a very, and I don't know if Melissa Jane is still in the chat, but it has a very unique sense of humor, and there's often going to be a lot of similarities in the slapstick comedy from Great Britain. And Melissa, if you are still here in the chat, please confirm or deny what I said or come up in the chat. But it's a very unique, sense of humor and a very uh, much more slapstick, a highbrow slapstick kind of comedy. But yeah, you're right; it is very common. But I'm not surprised it's. Any kind of British comedy or British show tends to have that kind of sensibility to it. So we're going to continue on the next part, which is not going to be as complicated, or at least I hope it's not as complicated.
Can I say
Uh,
the word again, the phrase again?
yeah, go ahead.
Voulez-vous le vin de la maison?
Exactly. Good job. I'm very proud of you. So we're obviously not going.
Grazie.
Well, it's
I think that's
technically
Italian. I think
that
it's
I was about
Italian.
to say that it's grazie in Italian, gracias in Spanish, or merci in French. Merci.
Merci.
You're
Merci.
Exactly. And to add on to that, if you want to say you're welcome, you would say bienvenue.
Oh, hold on. I need to. I need
you,
to. I need
you
to
need to
practice
get your
that one.
yeah, you need to get your big ears out of that one. So it's bienvenue.
Bien. Say it one more time.
Bienvenue.
Bienvenue.
Exactly. And bienvenue is one of those dual purposes words where you can use it to say you're welcome, as in, hey, it was my pleasure to give this to you, or bienvenue as in to welcome them to your home. So just like you would say, hey, welcome, it's a form of greeting that person to say, I'm happy to have you here in my home, in my shop, or whatever. Or also saying welcome as is, I'm glad to give you this, right? So in the same way, bienvenue is that same kind of word. So
Bienvenue.
bienvenue. Thank you. Merci. So the next thing that, of course, he says to the waiter is, "No, no, I'm driving." Obviously, we want to say that in French when we are going to be drinking alcohol. Um, we want to make it clear that no, no, I'm driving. So please, either no alcohol or like you seem to do, just take a little bit of sip and be a much more responsible driver. So the French way of saying this is a much quicker way and a much shorter sentence is non, je conduis. No, I'm driving becomes non, je conduis. So to break it down, no becomes no. Go ahead.
No.
No. There you go.
Is it
That
is it
was
the is it the intonation? Like, is it? Do I have to say it in that way? Like, no, or is it? Or can I just say no?
no. Yeah, you could just say no. I mean, intonation in French is it's like in English, right? Where it's really much more to convey the authority behind it. If you're saying no, because obviously sometimes no, you do have to be much more authoritative or playful with it or what have you. Um, but it's really not necessary for saying the word. You really have to worry much more about pronunciation. The intonation, as you become more comfortable with the language, you'll learn to sort of adapt it to really emphasize what you're trying to say. If you're trying to say a no, that's much more a police telling you, "Hey, no, you can't go across the street," or "No, you and your girlfriend are play fighting," kind of thing. So
Is that what they told the chicken?
yes, exactly. No, you cannot cross the street. Good one before the billions. Good one. Oh, so we're
Merci.
merci, merci. So, or you can say, that's very good. Très bien. That's another way of doing it.
Très bien.
Très bien, exactly. So, non, je conduis. So, obviously, you've mastered the no. It's very simple. Je is obviously French for me or I. So, je,
Okay. Je.
exactly. And conduit is obviously driving. So, conduit.
Do you pronounce the D? Is it conduit?
Yeah, it's conduit. Yeah,
Conduit.
yeah, exactly. So, the full sentence would become non, je conduis. Go ahead and give it a try.
No, je conduis.
Exactly. Okay. So good job. So it's really not any more complicated. It's definitely a lot simpler than the first sentence that you learned, right?
Yeah, I'm actually noticing a pattern.
Yeah.
Obviously when I actually took Spanish for several years, and I was actually co-president of the Spanish club, so I kind of can pick up a little bit
Yeah.
on the conjugations and the fact that the masculine and the feminine.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm noticing when certain like letters come together,
Mm-hmm.
like when you say the D and the U,
Mm-hmm.
the joui,
Yeah.
it doesn't, because a D doesn't sound like a D in French, or
Mm-hmm.
how it would be in English. Is actually different. But then I also see the J, um that actually sounds, like in English it's going to sound different, but then in we probably would just say J or G
Yeah.
or something like that. But J, J is
Exactly.
yeah. So when I see that in the word, then I'll be like, okay, I know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's I don't know if you were here for that part. I also had, of course, the typical hello, bonjour, greeting that we all would say once we come into my stream. But
Bonjour.
bonjour, exactly. But then, of course, I would, ask people, comment ça va? How are you?
Comment, comment
Comment
ça
ça
va?
va? Now, obviously, as you see with the C, normally a C, like in English, tends to be a much more harder letter, not quite as hard as the D normally is, because D is like defensive, and but
Wait a
C,
second. This.
yeah,
Oh my gosh, that's
a what?
hilarious.
Yeah.
He's like, it's normally not as hard as the D.
Do not clip that. Do not clip that.
It's too late.
Yeah, darn it. I didn't mean it that way. You know it.
I'm just
uh,
playing with you.
I know. But with the C, I don't know what this is in English there, the little line, the squiggly line under the C. I know it's technically in English as well. In French, it's called acidity. I know it's a complicated word. I won't ask you to learn that one unless you really want to. But that basically, once you see it under the letter C, it makes the letter a lot softer. So it's kind of like what you were saying before, how some letters in French tend to be said in a more softer way. So whenever you see this under a C, it's telling you that the C is a little bit more softer and pronounced much more like an S than would be a C, essentially. So
That's actually kind of funny because
yeah.
because I used to play the violin,
Mm-hmm.
and they would have, like, when you're reading music,
Mm-hmm.
they would have it in a way that you would have like, like, it would be letters, but then it would have something like, like an S, or something like that, like
Mm-hmm.
that C, and it would look like that, and you would also play it softer. Like, they
Ah,
would
yeah.
actually tell you to play it softer or harder, and they would have different words for what exactly you're supposed to play it as. So, like, they'll say Riccato, or um, Allegra,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, and then they'll say, okay, I want you to play it fast or hard, or stuff like that. So it actually does just reminded me of music, actually.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah, and I guess maybe they inspired themselves from French with all the little notes and things that would tell you. And that's what I was saying before too, as well, where all the little accents on the e's are also there for that to tell you how to handle that letter in particular, but also the letters maybe around it as well. So
Right. So what
yeah,
what does this mean again?
comment ça va means how
Comment ça
are
va?
you? Yeah, it's how
Okay.
are you? Okay.
Mm,
So yeah, go
Bien.
ahead. Bien, exactly. So basically, when you come in, one of the first things you would say to somebody is, of course, bonjour,
Bonjour.
and then you would obviously ask them, comment ça va?
Bien. Comment ça va?
Exactly.
What?
Now,
How would you say "and you"? Would you say "y tu"? Or you wouldn't say that, but you would say something similar to that?
something similar, yes, and the answer would be et toi. So et
"Et
toi,
toi." "Et
exactly,
toi." Okay.
exactly. So
So
and you,
this, can
yeah,
we do that one more time?
et toi.
"Et toi." Um, so say bonjour.
Mm-hmm.
Comment ça va?
Bien, et toi?
Oh, bien.
Exactly. So I'll just put that in order here because I just added it as well. I'll put the banner in order so that way we can go much more. There we go. And I'll just adapt it here. Just give me a second here. So a full mini little conversation. I'll start and hopefully you'll get it right. I would say
Uh,
bonjour.
bien.
Not quite.
Com-
Uh,
oh,
bon,
sorry.
yeah,
Okay,
no
sorry.
worries, no worries. Bonjour. Comment,
Bonjour.
comment ça va?
Bien. Et toi?
Je vais bien. Merci. So you see, it's not so complicated, right?
Right. And then you said
Yep.
for your welcome is bien, et toi, or
It's
oh gosh,
bienvenue. Yeah, it's bienvenue. Okay.
bienvenue. Yes. Okay.
Bienvenue. Okay. So that's another way, and I'll show it on screen here as well.
Bienvenue.
Bienvenue. Exactly. Da, da, da. So, oh, where did it go? Right here. So that's bienvenue.
Oh, see, now it makes sense why you say it like that, because it looks like
One.
venue, right?
Exactly.
But bienvenue.
Bienvenue. You're welcome to be venu. Is I guess il est venu. He has come. Not that kind. Not that kind. Please get that out of your mind right now.
No, I wasn't even thinking that way.
I know. He's coming around. He's come to be well, essentially. So bienvenue. It would be a I guess barbaric way to translate that word. He's welcome to be well, essentially. Bienvenue.
Bienvenue.
You know.
Oh, okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah, exactly. Every once in a while, French makes sense. Not always, but sometimes it happens. So that was essentially my French lesson for today. I didn't want to start off with anything too complicated today. Your personal thoughts. Do you think it went well? Do you really see yourself doing this again? Or, hey, no, it's too complicated. She stole my thunder. Stop this now. We don't want this anymore. Oh my God.
I actually enjoyed myself. This is, a new skill, so I had to learn
Mm-hmm.
how to utilize it. But yeah, I learned something new and I like it.
Good,
I like
good.
that. And I also think that this would be a good video. A lot of people could find it useful.
Yeah, yeah. And I just have to figure out a way to work around that whole copyright claim, but it's okay. Worst case scenario, like I said, I'll just put this under something else and figure it out. Or, anyways, I'll figure it out
Did
somewhere,
did you
somehow.
already get the claim?
Yeah, as soon as because I tested the video itself and I saw that it was going to get a claim. So I'm pretty sure I'll get a claim on this video as well. But worst case, it's not a copyright strike. It's more of a claim. So worst case scenario, I just won't get monetized for this particular video if ever monetization becomes a possibility for me. Worst case scenario. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And maybe because it's integrated into a much longer stream, it'll let it go. But you know how YouTube is. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, they go through the whole video.
Yeah,
But
exactly. So, yeah.
yeah, the good thing is that I think you should have your 4,000 watch hours.
Not quite yet. I'm close. I'm about, if I remember correctly, I think I'm about a little over halfway there. I think I last time I checked, I was at 2,600 hours. So
Okay.
I'm a bit there. So, and that's kind of why I also want to get and do the live stream earlier, do this live stream, and the one on Tuesday that I plan to sort of bolster my hours a little bit. So. Hopefully that works, and hopefully with these kinds of, and that's why I was asking you if you see yourself doing this by having these kind of recurring series that once a week people learn French with me, or we talk about arts or whatever. That hopefully that too will get people to start watching my videos and rewatching my older ones and so forth. So we'll go with, just as a closing thing, some of the French that Wally was imparting us in the little chats here. So let me see if I can go and find some of it that he was saying. Uh, of course, we'll go back. I don't know if you were there. This was Trash Can causing trouble as usual. C'est la cause des ennuis. It's here. There's a way, two different. This is not perfect French, but basically, oh my God, it can either mean one of two things. This is the cause of boredom. Ennui, it can mean boredom, or this is the cause of, oh my God, trouble. C'est la cause
Mm,
des ennuis. So it's kind of
c'est
hard to
la cause de ennui.
des ennuis, exactly. So as you can see, some of the letters. Now here, as you can see, the C, I pronounce the C more like an S. So even though it doesn't have that little line underneath, you would pronounce it like an S. So c'est la cause des ennuis, and obviously
C'est
here,
la cause de ennui.
exactly, des ennuis. Okay. Now the S here, even though it's part of de, so here's the
Hmm.
plural of de. You're kind of making it sound like it's combining with the two words together. So des ennuis. Okay, and the S at
Des
the end here.
ennui. Oh, so it's like a bridge.
Exactly. Okay, and the S at the end of ennui is like an extra decorative letter, is as essentially saying that you have multiple boredoms or multiple problems, depending on what he meant by ennui. Okay, so if you meant it more like he has multiple boredoms or multiple troubles, essentially. So that's
Got
what
99 problems.
99 problems and French ain't one.
All right.
So of course,
Yeah, 99 ennuis.
exactly. And of course, Melissa Jane had asked me, how do I spell oui oui or yes in French, which would be this. So that's yes, oui,
Oui, oui.
oui, oui, exactly. And we're going to go a little bit further down. I think I saw, and of course, Milsa J. My Milsa J. Mrs. B. Finesse tried to say "Parlez-vous français?" Now, this is not how we spell it, but I understood what she was trying to say at least. Parlez-vous français? Do you speak French? Parlez. Go ahead.
Parlez
Yeah. Vous
vous
français.
français?
Exactly. Parlez-vous français?
Parlez-vous français?
Exactly. Good work. So here we have another one. This one's a little bit tougher, more for
Derriere.
there. Yeah. Again, one of those French words that has been integrated into English, which in French it means the kind. I guess in English the connotation between derrière is very different because derrière does mean basically behind. Okay, so
Right.
that's why in English, when you say derrière, you're talking about somebody's bum bum, right? So it's behind you technically, right?
Yeah.
But it's
Actually,
yeah.
it's funny because they actually named a if you've ever seen the anime Seven Deadly Sins on Netflix, they actually have a character named Derriere,
Oh
and
my god.
she's like completely naked, but like she's a demon, so she has like shadows covering up her derriere.
Oh boy. My god. I
Yeah.
have to yeah, we have to do another movie talk again. Huh? We haven't done that in a while, but we'll talk about that another time. But because that's another show that seems interesting enough for me to want to watch. So you said Seven Deadly Sins, right?
Yes, it's a series, and they have
Okay.
movies as well. They have actually two movies, I think. Actually, no, I
Okay.
think three now.
Cool. I definitely have to check that out. So here we're saying derrière son dos, which again could mean a couple different things. Either somebody's talking behind your back, or we're talking about somebody's behind. So
Derriere Sondu.
derrière son dos, yes.
Derriere
So,
Sondu. That
exactly.
might be my
Derrière.
new favorite word, right next to omelette du fromage.
Omelette du fromage, exactly. Derrière son dos. Exactly. So behind his back. Because so is his and dos is back. So derrière son dos. So behind his back. So
Derriere Sondu.
yeah, exactly. I don't think I saw any much more. I don't know. There was a couple from Wally that he is said. The poor guy, je suis perdu. I am lost. Poor Wally, we're going to have to find him. Je
Je
suis
suis perdu.
perdu. Exactly. It sounds like Purdue. I think what Purdue is a school in the U.S. or a
Yes,
publishing
I
a
think
school. Okay. I'm not sure if you're frozen or if I'm frozen. Hello. I don't know if in the chat if you guys hear me. Press a one in the chat if you guys hear me. And if everything, because I don't know if it's me or if it's before the billions. That's one. Okay, so all right, so it might just be before the billions. That's unfortunately having some technical difficulties. Oh, there we are. He's back. Okay. Hello.
Hello, give me 1 second as
No
I
worries.
switch my head.
Oh, sounds
Yeah,
like you might.
because
Yeah,
I got a phone call and then I couldn't
get out
get
of
out
it.
of the phone call. It was just
Oh,
that was it.
don't you hate that when it happens? Like I'm trying to learn here.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, I hope it wasn't a phone call that was needed you to be taken or.
No, it wasn't. It was actually Somebody from Instagram had messaged me, and then they gave me a call, and then I was like, oh well, I'm actually on the panel at the moment, so I'll just call them back.
Oh, okay, okay. I didn't want to disturb your personal life either. But yeah,
That's
so
right.
anyways, yeah, exactly. I'm glad you're here. Hello, Mr. Awesome. We're nearing the end of our French lesson, but if you and or anybody else before the billions, if you guys want to continue this French lesson tonight, that's absolutely fine by me. I'm just gonna post just in case anybody else wants to join for some French lesson. I will put up the link, and we'll actually continue scrolling through the chats to see where was that one from Wally. Oh yeah, here it is. The poor guy. Je suis perdu. I am lost. Oh my God! Please don't be lost with French. I don't want you guys to be lost.
All right,
So
Je suis perdu.
perdu. You're
Per
perdu.
perdu.
Perdu. I know it's hard. That one's going to be a little bit hard because you want to pronounce it like Purdue. That's why I was like, oh, that's a school. Uh,
Okay, so you say perdu.
perdu.
Okay, almost like you saying per.
Yeah, perdu. Yeah, exactly.
Perdu.
Perdu. Exactly. So you have to unpronunciate the Purdue. you know.
All right,
But yeah, for
trying to
you,
simplify it.
exactly. You have to undo that one. But yeah, sometimes that's why too I struggle talking because it's like my tendency is to want to pronounce it the French way. I'm like, no, that's not. I know for you guys it's not quite the way you guys say it. So of course I respond to Wally, comment? Reviens ici, on est là. So I'm telling him, oh my God, no, please come back over here. We're here. Please, I don't want you to be lost. So comment? Reviens ici, on est là. So that's one's a little bit longer, but if you want to
Wow.
try, yeah, if
You,
you want
you,
to try, yeah,
come. So how
come,
do you pronounce the second word?
yeah, come on. I imagine that's the
Come
after
on.
the Wally. Yeah, come on. So
Come
like
on.
what? Yeah, exactly. So you're saying like what? What's going on? Like come on. Like how? How are you lost? What's going on here? And of course, reviens ici. Come back here. Come back here. Reviens.
Rev
Re,
Revienne.
yeah.
Revienne. Okay, that makes
Reviens.
sense.
Yeah. Reviens ici. Come back
Ici.
here. Yeah.
Okay, so comment revienne ici.
Yeah. On est là. We are here. On est
On
là. Yeah.
on est là.
On est là. Yeah. Again, here the on and the first two words you're kind of joining them together to some degree. So you're saying on est. So you see the n, even though it's
Oh.
exactly. So on est là.
Also,
On
the
est.
N is just like the S. So on est là.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So every once in a while, and that's kind of why I had to have that disclaimer at the beginning. I'm not here as an educator because there is an explanation for it, but I'm not qualified to go through that whole detail of why some words you would do that, some words you wouldn't, etc., etc. But there is an explanation as to why some words, even though they don't have the line, like I had said before, where you're clearly making it say, yes, there's two separate words, but you're saying them pretty much together. Here you it's called la liaison. That's how in French you sorry in English you guys have that word liaison, right? Somebody who
Yes.
joins exactly. It's a role where that person is connecting two separate worlds, and it's coming from the French liaison, where you're saying you're connecting two words that are technically different here. On and e is two different words. On is us. E is the verb we are. So on est
Oh,
là. Yeah,
on est
exactly.
là.
On est là. Exactly.
Okay, so let me
Okay.
say it one more time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Say como. So
Comment?
sorry, comment.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go. Comment revienne ici. On est là.
Exactly. Good job. Good job. So hopefully you and or other people will rewatch and practice, 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 and hopefully next time I have a live stream, all of this will be old, and you're like, we know this. Why are you repeating? Come on, give us something tough. So
Mm.
yeah, you want to try it again or?
Comment revienne ici. On est là.
Exactly. Good job. Good job. So this nice big sentence, this might be a little much, but we'll see. We'll see how you guys do. I also want to see what else is going on. Wally, Lashes Journey, Mr. Awesome, anybody else who is on the stream, if you guys want to, feel free to join. Um, I know Before the Billions is obviously ready and willing to learn French, but I do want to offer the possibility for the rest of you who want to learn the possibility of doing so as well. So this nice little now obviously there's a word here that for you guys is a little bit controversial in English, but in French uh, it's an acceptable word. So here pronunciation, uh, and I'm just gonna read it over just so that I'm understanding Wally 100%. Okay, I'll have to add a little bit because he didn't quite get it, but it's fine. So the first part is absolutely fine. Oh mon dieu! Oh my god!
Oh
Oh,
mon Dieu.
exactly. So you're just obviously exclaiming your shock and surprise to
Oh mon
someone.
Dieu.
Oh
Okay.
mon dieu, exactly. So that's obviously to say, oh my god, you know. So obviously, this one you would put the intonation would be much more of shock and surprise in the situation, because that's what you are saying. Oh my god, you know. You don't say oh my god for anything and everything, right? You're usually shocked or surprised or something like the person says something like, oh my god, I can't believe it, can't believe she stole my son or said this, you know. Oh my god. So
Oh mon Dieu.
exasperation. Oh mon dieu. So it
Oh
could be
mon Dieu.
oh mon dieu. So it could be either shock and surprise, or being exasperated by somebody and what they said. So oh mon dieu. So this long part, I'll say it once, but I'll break it down. J'ai encore du retard dans ma foutue de langue. Okay, so it's a very long sentence. I don't expect you to say it all in one shot. So, j'ai encore is the first part. So try that.
Oh my gosh, I thought it said encore. Um,
Yeah,
J. How you
encore.
pronounce it?
J'ai
Encore.
encore. Yeah,
Oh, so you don't even say the O.
exactly.
J encore.
Encore. Yeah, and encore is the French word. Encore, the encore here is your encore. Encore, I mean, and it means the same thing that it does in English. You want something again. That's why at the
Mm.
end of a show or a concert, particularly opera, you would say encore, encore, because you're saying to the performer, we want this again. We want more. Okay, so again, depending on your intonation, most of the time it means something good, something that you want to happen again, or it can mean like, oh, not this BS again. Oh, you know. But most of the time, it means something good. It means something that you know is happening again, or that you want to happen again. So the next part, du retard. Now, this is the word that in English, because of how it's pronounced, I won't say it. In French, excuse me, in French, it means you're causing somebody to be late by holding them back, essentially. Retard is late. Okay, now the
Retard.
retard, exactly. Adjust your pronunciation a little bit on that word because, you know, not because you're that wrong, but du retard. Try it again.
Say du retard.
Qatar, exactly. Because that's, I'll risk saying it, and please, YouTube, don't cause me too much trouble, and please, audience, forgive me for this. I don't mean any offense. But how you pronounce it, sometimes it could be, it's a lot of people say retard.
Mm.
So the pronunciation of this word is very important, which is why I was like, adjust your pronunciation just a little bit. But as we watch this video, and I will pronounce it properly, so that way, as you rewatch it, hopefully we'll get that out. But again, I don't mean any offense to anybody. I'm certainly not calling anybody that name. I'm just trying to obviously educate and inform all of you. So I'm going to repronounce that. J'ai encore du retard. Retard. Okay?
J'ai encore Du
Retard.
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 Let's see how I'm. You're basically the re. Your the back of your tongue is hitting the back top of your throat essentially. Retard.
Oh.
Yeah, I know it's like that general. It will take a moment, and it's okay that. And I'm
Yeah.
glad that you're retard. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a difficult retard, but that kind of a gesture. But you're gonna get there. Keep practicing.
Mm.
So j'ai encore du retard. Um,
Retard.
exactly. You kind of roll in the back part of your. Yeah, I know it's going to be tricky. And I'm not surprised that you're having difficulty with this one. There's going to be the words that you're going to have some difficulty with, which is fine. It's normal to. I'm sure if I tried to learn Spanish or Portuguese, there'd be words that it's like, oh my god, what are you trying to have me say? But we'll get through it. We'll get through it. So, of course, we're going to continue with the rest of the sentence is dans ma, in my. So, dans ma,
Da ma. Da
dans,
ma.
exactly. Okay. And here he forgot a word, but we'll add it. So, foutu de langue. So, he forgot the de, de. Foutu,
Foutu.
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 Yeah. De,
De
langue, langue.
langue.
Yeah. Foutu de langue.
Foutu de langue.
Good, good. So the full sentence, and you can try it if you want.
Okay.
Oh mon Dieu, j'ai encore du retard dans ma foutue de langue.
Oh mon Dieu. J'ai un. Oh my gosh.
J'ai encore,
J'ai encore. Okay, encore. Okay.
yeah,
So on mon Dieu. J'ai encore du retard
it's okay.
dans, dans ma foutue de langue.
Yeah, good job, good try. And hopefully you will rewatch this video and hear me say it and practice. And hey, hopefully I'll hear clips of either you or other people that are in this chat or that rewatch it. That you guys stitch in your attempts at learning French. Please clip this video. I want to see clips of you guys trying your hardest to learn French. Even if it's just a 10-second clip of you just saying hi or something, I'm fine with that. So let's see if anybody else has any other French. I think Mr. Awesome did have one sentence that. Da, da, da. Oh, Vaughn is here. Hello, Vaughn. I will. Hopefully, you're still here. We're gonna go back up after to see Mr. Awesome. So Vaughn Bryant, hello, hello, Vaughn. If you want, you can always come on to the panel and practice with your obviously very sexy voice. Not that before the villains you sound plain. You can always come up, Vaughn Bryant, and practice French with us if you like. So he obviously asks, "Hello, I'm back. How do I say sorry I'm late?" So obviously it's a sorry I'm late that he wants to know about. So it's there's several different ways that you could possibly say to somebody that, oh, sorry I'm late, sorry for my tardiness. I'll give with the most typical one is désolé pour mon retard. So again, our favorite word has come up again, or like Wally had said, veuillez excuser mon retard. So that's the more formal way, as Wally has shown, but we'll just say désolé de mon retard. So I'll put it on the screen here. So just give me a second, so that way you also have the visual. Désolé. So this is how you would say it. Désolé de mon retard. So
Désolé de
yeah,
mon retard.
a good time. Exactly.
I had to
The-
get that one right.
yeah, exactly. And like I said, as you hopefully rewatch this video or anybody else would, obviously my pronunciation is obviously going to be different from yours, but that's normal. You're learning, and obviously, like I said, putting a lot of hard, emphasis on how to pronounce that last word, just because I know it is a sensitive word in English, and I don't want people to hear you or me say it and think I'm calling somebody a bad word. But yeah, so that's how you would say, Vaughn. Sorry, I'm sorry for my tardiness. Sorry that I'm late. Désolé de mon retard. So we're gonna see if there's. I think there was one last little comment from Mr. Awesome when he came in, which was a short and sweet sentence. Yes, there it is. So the last thing we'll address today, as far as the French lesson, unless Vaughn or somebody else wants to come up and practice their French, is bonjour, mademoiselle. Now, obviously, he misspelled bonjour, but it's okay. This isn't, again, like I said, a formal formal teaching. So I'm just here to help you guys out a little bit. So bonjour, mademoiselle. Hello, miss, because mademoiselle is for miss. So typically either a woman under 18 or unmarried. So bonjour, mademoiselle. Obviously, you already know how to say bonjour.
Bonjour,
Of course,
mademoiselle.
mademoiselle, exactly. So hello, miss. So obviously that's how you,
Mademoiselle. Okay.
mademoiselle, exactly. So that's how we say bonjour, mademoiselle. Now, obviously, how you would say bonjour, monsieur, or hello, sir, is bonjour, monsieur, like I just said. Try that one on for size.
Yes. Does that mean does Monsieur
Yeah,
um does that mean that they're unmarried and under 18, or does it just mean a man
it
or
just
sir?
means a man. Yeah, it just means sir, like it does in English. Because obviously, both for French and English, it obviously follows the tradition. Even though in English, formally, words don't necessarily follow male versus female, but obviously in French, there is much more of offense. Uh, you know, uh, how to say this? A much more emphasis on men being men from the get go, while as women, our status is obviously determined as to whether we're married to a man or not. So, but that's another discussion for another.
Mm.
Exactly. So that's another discussion for another day, unless people really want to hear us talking about that. But hey, I'll go with wherever the chat wants us to go. But yeah, so
Yeah, because
for
that's also the same thing for Spanish
yeah, exactly.
as
A lot
well.
of yeah. So there's lots.
Senora versus senorita.
Exactly, exactly. I think German is one that does have gender as well, but for them, for the longest time in Germany, once you hit 18 as a woman, you were automatically called a Frau, so a madam, the second you turned
Uh,
18. Um,
it sounds like he's saying frown, and I'm like, oh no.
oh no, no, Frau without the N.
Oh mon Dieu.
Almost, you're exactly good. I'm glad that you're seeing. I'm so happy that you're practicing and using the words that you're learning today. Thank you so much for that. Um, but yeah, so yeah, it would be
uh,
just bonjour, monsieur,
bienvenue.
bienvenue. Yeah, exactly. Bravo. I'm so happy to hear you say. So yeah, so and obviously there's a similar word in French. It's monseigneur, which is your holiness, essentially. So it's very very similar, but it's obviously means something very different. So bonjour monsieur versus bonjour monseigneur. So yeah, a little bit different. I won't ask you. Yeah, monsieur or
Monsieur.
yeah is just the sir. So you're just talking to your father, a gentleman at the shop, or whatever. And Monseigneur is somebody of the obviously religious uh, Christian clergy. Monseigneur,
Oh, so
your
that's
home.
the formal
No, well, no, it's
Monsignor.
Monseigneur is
Okay.
somebody who's a clergyman, somebody in
Okay.
the like a priest or something like that. So, yeah, Monseigneur. But Monsieur,
Monsignor.
yeah, exactly. So it's yeah, a clergyman essentially. Okay. Obviously, there are different kinds of clergymen in the Christian faith, but again, that's a different topic for a different day, unless people really want to hear it. So basically, that's it for the French lesson today. Thank you so much, before the billions, for participating. I don't know if there's something that
Bienvenue.
bienvenue, exactly. So I don't know if there's something that, French sentence, that you might want to, learn, or that you're not sure, or that you want to practice, or
Well, I definitely had to practice all the things that we did today.
yeah, that's for
Um,
sure. Yeah,
but yeah, so I think I'll start practicing with that.
yeah.
Um, I wanted to ask if you can say my name in French, en
Ah, yes.
français,
En français, exactly. Of
en
course.
français.
En français, exactly. So, yours, and I know you had asked me if, I think was what, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, that I had tried to, and I know it's, your name is a little bit complicated in French, mostly because of the pronunciation of it. And I'll repeat a little bit of what I had said, because for billions, when you say the B, you're using your lips. While as in French, when you pronounce that, the word in French, you're using more the back mouth part of your mouth. So it's a little bit tricky, but I'm sure you will get it with practice. So
Yeah,
we're going to say it. So before the billions in French would be avant les milliards. Avant
avant
les
le
milliards.
milliard,
Exactly. Avant les milliards.
avant le milliard.
There
I
you
know,
go.
I know, I'm exaggerating it, but
Of course,
I'm
yeah.
trying to make sure.
No, and it's
Milliard.
yeah, exactly. Now, of course, as you get used to how your tongue rolls as you say these words, you obviously won't have to exaggerate things, and you'll get the little bit of the nuances, like, how you speak in English. Obviously, you learn where to put your tongue and how much pressure and all that, and that's the beauty of learning the languages. Of course, at first you start being very clumsy and not quite, learning how to say things properly, but with time and practice you end up getting there. So yeah, so that's
Oui, oui.
pretty much it. We exactly. So that's pretty much it for tonight. I don't want to exaggerate and have a 10-hour live stream of me teaching you guys, any French. So thank you very much, before the billions, for being here and be my first guest on my French lesson today.
Bienvenue.
Bienvenue. Merci beaucoup et bonne soirée. Thank you very much and have a great night.
Merci.
Merci. So, thank you guys for being here. Thank you again, for the billions, for being here in today's first, live stream about learning French. How do I say? So, hopefully, you guys have learned something tonight, even if it's a simple bonjour, a simple bienvenue, a simple merci, or something much more complicated like désolé pour mon retard. So, thank you guys for being here and participating either in the chat, like Von Bryant, like Wally, like Mr. Awesome, even a little bit more, not as much as I would have liked, Trash Can, Waves, or Melissa Jane. Thank you again for being today's, sponsor for the stream. I appreciate it as well so much that you, sent me that money, that you are my first ever PayPal donation. Thank you very much, Melissa Jane. So I appreciate all the effort that you guys put into, my other live stream as well. And I had a really great conversation. I will have to work either tomorrow, tonight, or tomorrow morning on, um, on chatting up. And, Mr. Awesome, that's why I was mentioning to, to before the billions, that we'll have to get back into that habit of having a movie weekend. I was half tempted to do one yesterday, but I kind of felt, unmotivated until I participated in, the live stream with, El Guapo on his channel, Beautiful Lies, which he re-aired the clip, and that's another French word I can leave you guys with, his premiere or première, which in French, première means first. So your first show. So this is what an artist would say when they're saying, I'm doing my first show. They would say, c'est ma première. It is my first show, right? Première. Or how you guys say a premiere, right? So again, that's another French word that you guys obviously say differently than we do in French. Game of Thrones. I haven't watched the show, and I do technically have the books. I read the first 3 4 pages and put it down. I was not personally impressed by the book, but I'll definitely have to take it into consideration, Mr. Awesome. But hopefully we'll be getting back into our habits of having a movie night or a movie afternoon. I think I will have to adapt it since obviously um, Gail Lockett um, wants to have her first live or her big live on Saturday at 8 o'clock, and that's usually when I do my movie night. But for Gail Lockett, I have no problems moving it around to a different date and or time. So, anyways, thank you guys again for being here with me tonight and today, actually, on these 2 live streams. Again, thank you, Gail Lockett, for being a great moderator. Thank you again to Melissa Jane for your generous PayPal donation, or as we learned today, donation. Again, donation. Thank you, Mr. Awesome, Wally, Von Bryant, and also, of course, Lashes Journey. Who else? Who else did come up here? Trash Can Waves for being in the chat and participating in the chat. And for all those of you simply coming later on to view my first lesson, thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here and giving me this time out of your day and this view. So, on that note, I wish you all a bonne nuit et merci beaucoup. N'oubliez pas de mettre un gros like that button, and subscribe. Have a great night, everybody. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.